been around in the industry for over 10 years now, and from your first very role, you've been lauded for the work you've done, for the roles you've portrayed on screen. Today, as you sit here 10 years later and a little more, how do you see the industry evolving when it comes to depiction of women on screen? That's one part of the question. And the second is, as a producer, what are some of the steps that you would like to take to ensure that there is more women representation on the sets, not just on screen?
Two things. First of all, I think I was really fortunate, to be honest. Like Himanshu sir reminded all of us, the first dialogue I ever uttered on the big screen was "Permission to lena chahiye." Which talks about consent, but of course in a fun way. But that's the whole idea, right? Nobody's trained that we have to make boring films or we have to bore people with and tell them, oh, this is right or not. But no, within an entertaining format, how do you get the point across? Because that's what really sticks, as opposed to just so yeah, I think I've been really fortunate, to be very honest, that I think I because of thanks to my parents and my history honours degree and Gargi college education, I think I was slightly more aware of what I was doing, and also my parents insisted that I finish my education and then move to Bombay too. And I think that really made all the difference. See what happens, with female actors, there's a certain narrative, as if we are almost like apples. After they're ripe, they're no longer any good. You have to sort of debut at a younger age, and by the time you're married or whatever, now you're not so, what is the word? Marketable anymore, desirable anymore. But ladkiyan hain, amrut thodi hain, But I think it's so cool today that so many of my colleagues are getting married and having babies and all in the public eye, as opposed to even 10 years ago when it was sort of like a taboo thing, right? And even in the media, how they were spoken about. If a woman got pregnant, God forbid, or had put on a few kgs, it was almost as if it was a cardinal sin and people were mocking it. And I think there is a big shift in society which is also being represented by films. Right. Even when I was growing up, I did not have so many role models that I looked up to. But today, there are many. So when I turned producer, the first film that we decided to do was a film called Double XL. Because when I joined the business, everyone said, "Arey Huma, to kitni achhi acting karti," but she's a little plump. And I was like, it's almost as if a female body was only supposed to look a certain way. So what about all those other women who don't have straight silky hair, who don't have a certain body type? Are they not allowed to feel beautiful or empowered or seen or represented? We're a very diverse country, with very diverse and beautiful women. But it's almost as if there is a mainstream narrative that has been, put upon us. Yeah. So Double XL was the first one that we did, which was taking it head on. It had me, it had Sonakshi Sinha in it, outsider, So we tried to take the entire thing, head on. I was playing a small town girl, she was playing a girl from South Delhi, saying this is a problem that pervades everybody. Just because you are a woman from a certain class or a strata, you're not excluded. So those are the kind of stories I'm interested in. Like for me, it's really important that when I read a script, I'm trying to play a character which is a real, breathing, three-dimensional woman. Yeah. It's not that, oh, she's a bossy woman. What do you mean bossy? We never use that term for guys, do we? No. We don't. But if a girl is assertive, then she's bossy. And I feel somewhere in the way, like for example, when I did Monica, Oh My Darling for Netflix, and Vasan and I were having this discussion, on paper, what is it? It's a glam doll character who's sleeping with the whole office and is blackmailing them. A few years back, a character like this is, oh, can I say the word? She's a slut. Or she's a blackmailer, or she's a vamp. But the lens in which, and thanks to Vasan and Netflix, and the lens through which we're trying to represent that character, that it's a black comedy, everybody's black, everybody's wrong, everybody's making those choices, but when a woman does something, she's called a vamp. So the idea is that we're trying to bring about a conversation about how can we change and push the envelope a little bit and change these conversations. And it is by, I guess, producing stuff, writing stuff, directing stuff, and there are a lot more women today behind the scenes than in front, and I think that has made all the difference. भाई क्या होता है ना, आप पिक्चर बनाओगे, आपको डायरेक्टर बनना है किसी को बनना है राइटर डायरेक्टर बनना है किसी को, अरे उठाइए हाथ, शर्माइए नहीं। तो जब आप कोई कहानी लिखोगे, अपने बारे में सोचोगे, तो यू विल ऑब्वियसली राइट समथिंग दैट यू नो ना, जो जीवन आपने जिया है, करेक्ट? So that's what happens. If the more women you have that are writing, that are producing, that are directing, the more stories you will write, about your stories.
Thank you so much. No, please, we'd love to hear some more. So encouraging to hear the steps that you are going to take as a producer to bring about this change. I think it's very important. Because recently there was a study that I read which said that whenever there were more women on greenlighting a project or helping a project, we saw more women representation on the sets. And I think that is something that's very, very important.
That does happen. Till a few years ago, अगर लड़कियों को काम से कोई ED भी आता था, तुम costume कर लो. It's like the easy stuff is given to you. You're a costume ED, or your job is to make sure the actor leaves the van and comes on set on time. The soft jobs, not the real jobs. But today that is changing. I know so many people who are continuity supervisors or first ADs, and they're associate directors, and they're really strong, powerful women. We at least try in my company that we try and have as many number of female people working in the crew, because the more number of women that are working in the crew, the more safer environment it is. And that's a fact. And the more they feel empowered, in case somebody misbehaves with them on set, then you know that you have someone to talk to. You don't feel like, oh, if I raise a voice, then I will be that girl, who said this guy harassed me or whatever. And I think all of us will identify, right? A lot of us don't speak out about sexual harassment because we don't want to be that girl, jiske saath ye hua tha. But the more women there are, they'll be able to relate to it, be able to take action. Actually क्या है ना कि बहुत सारी फिल्में हैं और पिछले कुछ दशकों में आई थिंक वो फिल्में और ज़्यादा होती जा रही हैं. अब जो एक नया एक टर्म है ना कि फीमेल लेड फिल्म्स या फीमेल लेड सीरीज आजकल, especially on OTT platforms like Netflix, they are doing really, really well. So definitely there's a shift. But for me, it's not just about the female led films that are creating this sense of empowerment. Today, as an actor, मैं अपनी बात करती हूँ, आपके पास कोई स्क्रिप्ट आती है, आप स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ते हो, तो आप उसमें पढ़ के आपको लगता है कि अरे जो ये लड़की का कैरेक्टर है, ये खाली हीरो की जर्नी की एक सहारा नहीं है कि हीरो जंग में जाएगा और मैं उसके लिए खाना बनाऊंगी और वेट करूंगी और उसकी दुआएं पढ़ूंगी. लड़की क्यों जंग पे नहीं जा सकती? And I feel that shift in the way we are approaching films, we are approaching series, approaching storytelling has come about. Today I know, and I can speak for myself, many other colleagues of mine are rejecting, saying no, give us more to do, because women, I've never met a woman who's not strong. Strength के बड़े सारे रूप होते हैं, but I've never met a woman who's not strong. So why are we not representing that strength in our movies? Because when a little girl sees somebody that looks like her, making those brave choices, she's also empowered.
Right.
So I think there are a lot more that are happening, and I think all of us are standing on shoulders of so many women, not just the leading ladies as it's called, but also so many other women who probably did character parts or smaller bits, but their contribution was really, really important to how they brought about this change.
Like you said,
that should get normalized.
Absolutely. Huma, what about you? A role that you felt broke stereotype for you? Yours or anybody else's?
There's many actually. I really enjoyed Darlings. I really enjoyed Thappad.
Yes.
I thought when I saw that film, then I mean, I wish I'd done that film, But I think Taapsee did a wonderful job, and Anubhav sir directed a beautiful film, because, in a country where, domestic violence is quite prevalent, to talk and fight about ek thappad, in itself, and I know how conventional theatrical wisdom, runs, right? Ki arey ye kya picture hai, koi nahi dekhega, ye kya bakwas bundle idea, and this is how people talk, right? But for a film at that point in time to come and to do well at the box office, gave me a lot of heart, to be honest. I really believed in this country, in the people, in being able to create a better world. So that film really resonated with me.
ऐसी कितनी कहानियाँ रियल टाइम स्टोरीज हमारे पास आती है, जरूर विल शेयर विद यू.
We must. ये चाय पे चर्चा जरूर करेंगे.
जी, नाइस टॉपिक.
Sure, please.
A very important point that she has raised,
As an actor, sometimes you're given something to do which is problematic. But then, and it's a very personal choice, right? So I'm offering you a perspective on this. There's a film that I released, I don't know if you guys have seen, called Django Unchained.
Yes.
Yes? And Leonardo Yes, Tarantino directed. Leonardo played a white guy who hates black people and he spits on them and he kills them and he just does not even think of them as human. And I remember watching the making of that in his interview saying that, there's a moment when I had to spit on my fellow actor, my colleague, and I just couldn't do it because it was so disturbing. Because it's not just me humiliating another person on the basis of his color and his race, but it's also the generational, racism that has been going on, what the film is trying to address. But at that point in time, he chose to do that part because an actor of his stature doing that would create a conversation around it. Now I'm saying sometimes it can also be used to an advantage. Often I think and question myself, will I ever, play a character which has to kill a child? I can't think of anything possibly worse than that. But could there be maybe a lesson in it? Maybe somehow could that perform? I mean, again, these are all hypotheticals, and absolutely, I don't think creators can absolve themselves of social responsibility. And I know and I don't want to talk about any specific film or maker because I feel rather uncomfortable doing that because they're not here. I think they should be here to defend them. So without trying to participate in a specific film conversation, I think yes, it is happening when your moral compass feels that something is wrong, but that film goes on to becoming a blockbuster. But having said that, people are watching it. Same way people watch porn, or anything else, or violence, or I send you like a MMS clip, and before you know it has become viral. That is the power of media, and we can't deny that. Having said that, box office nobody remembers, and that's also a fact.
Hi Prajakta, Mismatch season 3. Oh my god! Oh wow! I didn't. The minute Tanya said this, मैं react करना है या नहीं करना? So I went to Tanya. Tanya is laughing. I was like, हाँ okay. अभी जनता के सामने confirm हो गया करना पड़ेगा. नहीं करना तो भी करना पड़ेगा. So Dimple, speaking of Mismatch, Mismatch किसने देखा है यहाँ पे? There you go. पर Dimple एक ऐसी leading heroine है उस शो की जो typical standards जो हमारी हिंदी सिनेमा में हमने देखे हैं बचपन से कि long legs and perfect face, perfect skin. वो नहीं है. Dimple is relatable. She's wearing रोजमर्रा के कपड़े etc etc. गजल दालीवाल जिन्होंने इस कैरेक्टर को लिखा है बनाया है, तो उनके साथ हमने काम किया Dimple को बनाने के लिए. How much of it was your input and how much of it already came to you?
Actually, Dimple came to me as Dimple is, honestly. मैं बिल्कुल कोई क्रेडिट नहीं है मेरा उसमें. मैंने कोई काम नहीं किया था. मुझे लगता है गजल की पूरी टीम ने एंड आकर्ष इन्होंने Dimple को बनाया हुआ था. एंड फॉर मी, मैं इतनी डरी हुई थी because I was not used to playing characters I have not written before playing Dimple.
That's right.
तो I remember जब मैं सेट पे थी और मेरा पहला शॉट में दे रही थी, I was panicking because I was like, but मैं नहीं चाहती हूँ.
कौन सा था पहला शॉट?
पहला शॉट था in season 1 when Dimple enters the classroom and sees कि और कोई सीट खाली नहीं है. वो ऋषि के बगल में एक सीट, she rolls her eyes and she walks. That was the first shot.
Right.
And मेरा ऐसा था, मैं कहा आकाश मुझे नहीं पता है क्या करना. आकाश ने जितना हमने रीडिंग्स में किया है, जितना हमने रन थ्रूज में किया है, रिहर्सल में किया है, बस उतना ही ध्यान रखो. तो actually she was served to me on a platter. I knew exactly what she likes, what she doesn't like, and I happened to like her a lot. So
Yeah.
that was easy.
But what was the best thing about getting to play Dimple? Like this character who is, relatable. She looks like me.
Yeah.
She talks like me.
Thank you so much for saying that. You have no clue how much that means to me. जब season 1 का trailer आया था, I remember one of the comments and I'll never forget it. It said that thank you so much for finally getting a character that looks like me.
Yeah.
And I was just like yes. And that was also what I loved the most about her. जब पंचमी का जो हमारी casting director है, जब उनका phone आया था कि I want to do audition for the show that Netflix is making with Aris with me. So I was just like okay. So उस time पे the show was called When Dimple Met Rishi on Sandhya Menon.
That's right. Yeah.
तो वो जब character sketch आया मेरे पास, I fell in love with her because I was so happy to see that the sketch that came to me had nothing to do with the way Dimple looked.
Her looks.
Which was new, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे जितने में character sketches अभी भी in fact जब आते हैं तो it says oh she's dusky, or she's short, plump, chubby, bubbly, funny, long hair, short hair.
Yeah.
Right? Called bubbly. Oh, I hate bubbly.
Girl, the number of times that you're so chubby, you're so bubbly.
I'm not soda. Come up with a better compliment. So, and then when I read that, it said she is a gamer and she wants to be a coder. She's stubborn and she not very likable, flawed, very
Are you saying rude? You're good.
rude. I don't think she's rude. I don't think she has social skills in general.
See, when a woman speaks her mind and everyone's saying it, rude.
I don't think simple is rude. Very focused, very like future oriented, and I loved that. I was like, this is a great character. I know her. I want to be her. So I think that was my favorite part about being Dimple.
Now I'm going to move on to the writer, not Dimple writer, but a writer who wrote Thappad. Hi, wrote my. Now we love Thappad. Who here has watched Thappad, guys? सबने देखी है. हंटर लेके कमरे में घुस के सबको ठाई करके निकल जाते हैं और सारी चीजें सॉर्ट आउट हो जाती हैं. Delhi Crime was probably one of the first big productions that we've seen where female cops are shown as a muffler, sweater, गद्दे पे सो रही है. Talk to me about creating your character for Delhi Crime.
I'm very glad that they didn't have a cop who had long legs and was fighting people, otherwise they wouldn't have cast me. So thank you. But a very interesting experience working on season 1 and season 2. I didn't know anything about the police world. I don't have anybody in the family who's been a police officer. So मुझे लगा कि अब तो काम करना पड़ेगा. So Neeraj Kumar, who had been the commissioner of Delhi a few years ago and was a consultant on the show Delhi Crime season 1 and 2. So I went and met him and I said, he said he sort of took me through what he thinks is the way to prepare for the show. And I said, sir, but I really want to shadow a cop, otherwise मुझे नहीं समझ आएगा कि क्या करना है. क्योंकि छोटी चीजें कि अगर सीनियर ऑफिसर ने यूनिफॉर्म पहना हो या आपने यूनिफॉर्म पहना हो तो अगर उन्होंने नहीं पहना हो आप सल्यूट करेंगे नहीं करेंगे. पुलिस प्रोटोकॉल एज ऑल ऑफ यू नो इज मतलब बहुत स्पेसिफिक होता है और उसको बहुत रिलीजियसली पुलिस फोर्स में फॉलो किया जाता है. एंड मतलब उसकी तो मैं डिक्शनरी में लिख दूँ वो भी कम पड़ जाएगा. जैसे अगर आप पुलिस ऑफिसर हैं तो आप गाड़ी के किस साइड पे बैठेंगे. If you're not in a uniform, there is a particular side of the car that you sit in. So those small things. When you wear your beret cap, then you do this to fix that the emblem is in the correct position. So ये सब अगर आप किसी को shadow ना करो तो आप कभी
पता नहीं चलता.
So he introduced me to a police officer who was in the same position as Neeti Singh was in season 1, which is a probationer officer, which is कि आप अपनी ट्रेनिंग खत्म की है पुलिस अकेडमी में और फिर आप फील्ड ट्रेनिंग पर आए हो. So I shadowed a cop in
For how long?
So actually I had very little time to prep for season 1. So I had 5 days before I got finalized for the show. This is all a little last minute. That's another story. But I'm glad things worked out this way. And so I was shadowing her. So I didn't have my first day was like after 5 days of prep. But then I had time in between. So I kept like hanging around with her. And what probation officers do is they are kind of on field training, so they are allowed to do anything that they align themselves with at that time. तो कभी पुलिस स्टेशन पे होते हैं, तो कभी नाके पे होते हैं, तो कभी कुछ भी करते हैं. So I hung out with her everywhere. And then I just felt I hadn't had enough of it in season 1, and I felt कि बहुत कुछ बचा है. Not realizing that even when I have time, it's never going to be enough. But I called her up before I started shooting for season 2, and funnily enough, she was in the same position as Neeti Singh is in season 2.
Amazing.
And she was ACP at that time. So I said, I want to come and meet you again. And by then we had become friends. And she said, yes, it'll be great fun. She was posted in Chandigarh, not in Delhi at that time. She said, please come. And I said, okay, I just want to be a shadow on the wall and just like sort of watch you, and so don't be sort of conscious of, and because I had that rapport with her already, I could sort of do that. And I went to meet her in season 2. Of course, when she picked up the phone and she told me all that I had done wrong in season 1.
That's hilarious.
She said, आपने सल्यूटिंग नहीं किया, आप जब यहाँ पे बैठी थी,
रिव्यू कर दिया,
आपकी स्मार्टनेस नहीं थी जो पुलिस ऑफिसर में होनी चाहिए. I said sorry, वो सब मैं करेक्ट करने आई हूँ इस बार. So yeah, I went to her office and I sat there for about 5 days for many hours. and I saw something, situations as variable as two neighbors were having a spat because somebody put kachra outside and somebody didn't throw it, and those boundaries were crossed. And at the same time, I also sat through a murder interrogation. So that was quite a variety of experiences. It's very, very intense to be a police officer in this country, and I have total admiration for what all of you do.
ज़्यादा नहीं होती थोड़ा murder investigation.
Yeah.
Little too much. But please go ahead.
You know, it's unlike what you see in the films. It's all so casual. It's every day for everybody. Yeah? So I had to sort of, during that interrogation, pinch myself a little bit and say, what are they talking about a murder?
Yeah, this is way out of your comfort zone. Like way out of something that you would experience in real life. But playing a police officer, I imagine is very intense. और मतलब कहीं बहुत दिल के किसी गहरी जगह पे जाना पड़ेगा वो performance निकालने के लिए, where you're actually talking about the very serious things that Delhi crime handles and very deftly it handles. How do you pull yourself out of that performance once it is over and you have to go to another performance? Go play a bubbly girl somewhere. No, please don't. But I'm kidding, but you know what I'm saying.
I know, but you know, I'm confused about that because as actors, your attempt always is to try and involve yourself as much as you can, and I'm always worried that I haven't done that. You know?
Yeah.
I always feel कि ये जितना मुझे करना चाहिए था वो हुआ नहीं है, and जितनी आप research करने जाओ, जितने लोगों से मिलो, you realize what you don't know. You know that there can be a lifetime you can spend preparing for any given part.
Yeah.
You know? So it's really, you're never prepared. So I can never claim when I'm doing a film or after I've done the film that I was totally in it. I'm sure there were some spaces still to go to which I wasn't able to access. So I keep thinking कि अगर एक ऐसा moment भी हो जाए ना जिसमें मुझे when I surprise myself with the knowledge that I have, with the feelings that I have, then that I would feel like I've done what I had to do.
और ऐसा नहीं होता कि गोवा निकल गए 10 दिन के लिए शूट खत्म हो गई बस I need to like get out of this Mauritius चलते हैं.
I don't realize what I take away from it and how much of it stays with me. I think as creative people, that's what all of us might experience. It's so intangible and it's so subconscious that you cannot, and that's the beauty of it. It's only beautiful because it's intangible, right? You can't say कि ये हुआ and मुझे ये experience हुआ और उससे मुझे ये लगा.
Yeah.
फिर बहुत ही sad हो गया.
मैं तो सिर्फ आपको process समझने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ because I'm very curious.
It's not the beauty of it is that it is intangible. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि I was immersed in it so much and then I have not been able to get out of it. No, there are things that live with you for very long.
Yeah.
For example, I've done a film called Hamid, which is also
Yes.
on Netflix, and I didn't realize how much of it had stayed with me for so many years. Till today, when I listen to the story of a Kashmiri woman, it moves me in a deeper way than it would have before I had done the film, where I was just probably looking at stories from Kashmir as news articles.
Yeah.
Depends
क्योंकि हम देख के इतना इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं that हम सबकॉन्शियसली उनके मैनरिज्म्स कॉपी करने लग जाते हैं एक्टर्स के वो जिस तरह से बोल रहे हैं. मैं इस वक्त शिट्स क्रीक का रिकैप देख रही हूँ नेटफ्लिक्स पर and I am like all of them like I've picked up something from everyone. Before I start to make my way back that way, अब हम ऐसे शुरू करेंगे. Once again, I want to thank National Commission for Women for this partnership with Netflix and making this happen today for us. We're all very thankful. See, I'm doing the Alexis shoulder. I'm doing the shoulder. I'm telling you. Yes, because I'm watching like 5 episodes before I go to bed because it's such a stress relief for me to watch those 20 minutes episodes. So I'm like, it's so annoying. But just me. Now I'm going to walk this way. आप मुझे बताओ कि you are in charge of your movie set जब आप film बना रहे हो. And as a director, has it been challenging for you to make people feel like you are in command of this movie set and they have to take instructions from you? Because people tend to fall in line faster when there's a man giving out instructions. They tend to listen to them. अच्छा हाँ boss ने बोला है. So what has that been like for you, commanding a movie set?
Well, it was my first movie, so actually on my set everybody had more experience than me. So, but I told myself that I know my script best, I know my characters best. As for gender, no, I think if you accept that you are gender agnostic and you're not man or woman, I think people do. I think it works like that, and now there are lots of women on set also. And पहले क्या होता था, costume ladies होती थी. They used to get female job. I mean, the women used to just be costume ladies or something like that. Like right now, my art director,
she has an all-women crew. And with art directors, what happens is that you're dealing with a lot of men, because men are typically carpenters or painters, and they are making the set for you. But they were all, so I think it was ऐसा नहीं था, luckily for me, because I think we had a lot of women also. So yeah.
So HODs आप कह रहे हैं अभी change हो रहे हैं, lots of women are stepping into these roles. Talk to me about that, the change that you've observed on movie sets.
Right now there are women cameramen, there are women gaffers who will focus for cameramen, there are women who are lighting, which is very rare before. So I think a lot of women are coming in, as she said, like 51% women in Netflix is big. Yeah. See, what happens is that there are women who are hiring women, that also makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Like she's made Thappad, I made Darlings. Look at the different perspectives of the same subject.
Yes.
So that's what we will get to see. I think it's a very exciting time. And we both picked up I went and watched Thappad actually, because we were making Darlings and this movie came out. I said, oh my god, the same subject and whatever. But when I watched it, I said, there's nothing close to Darlings. We had a very different perspective. But look at what happened. And a lot of these things are happening now. A lot of writers are women. So I think it's a very exciting time to see different perspectives. Yeah.
I just want to add that, I think women are getting to tell their stories. And I just
Women telling women's stories.
And men's stories.
Yes.
And men tell women's stories. I mean, Imtiaz is directed and showed on She, which is one of the most powerful stories about women. But I think it's the time for people to tell stories they believe in. And I think, to your point, the questions that you're asking, actually, I think what's really amazing about OTT as a phenomenon, and I don't refer to just us, is that I think everyone's got the ability to have their voice. Whether it is writers, creators, directors, actors, the crew on set. I think there is just it's such a golden age of content, and especially for women. And here I can talk about us a little bit, which is from 2022 to 2023, we've seen like a 45%, upwards of 45% increase in the female workforce on our shows and films.
Wonderful.
So that's really the revolution that I wanted to highlight, and I just felt that with this platform, her story, I think it's important to actually thank the NCW and for opportunities like this, where we are able to come and actually discuss the power of these stories.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Mrunmai, you are now writing with Netflix. You're writing Scoop with Hansal Mehta, where you have a journalist. Journalist character who also like cop characters. If you're a woman, more often than not, you see. Things are changing right now. We've had some really nice representation of women playing journalists. But talk to me about writing a journalist for the screen. Are you meeting journalists, spending time with them? What's that process like for you as a writer?
So I wrote Scoop in the very first lockdown.
Acha.
So there was no way to get out and actually physically go see spaces, meet people in person. And we were really exploring a lot of stuff I never thought I would be writing about. Like I remember, I almost chuckled because I was writing a scene between the warden of a Baigula jail and ACP and a khabri. And I'm like, how am I writing this? I don't know what they talk about. It just feels ridiculous that I'm writing three voices I've never heard meant.
You should have called Rasika and asked her for research.
So all the research was online, phone calls. I had a really great guy who was doing it. He is a journalist. So yeah, I was interacting with him a lot. And I think from the very start, when that book Behind Bars in Baigula came, me or Hansal sir, we never saw it as a woman, to be very honest. For us, it was a story about a journalist wrongfully accused for another journalist, something that was wrong. So when I was speaking to various friends of mine who are journalists, it didn't strike me as, coloring a character with a certain gender, quite honestly. Behind, I think, every journalist, there is a philosophy at play most of the time by which they operate. We really had to struggle to find those philosophies for the 5, 4, 3, how many ever journalist characters there were. Because they were all going to be different shades, they were all going to serve a different purpose in the narrative. And yes, someone would serve a catalyst, an antagonist, all these broad strokes would be there. But at the end of the day, they were all servicing their own philosophy and what they needed to do at that point. So we were very careful to treat them as people before the profession or the gender came ahead. So even if it is a slightly antagonistic person in the newsroom, there is something that he's striving to achieve.
Yeah.
So that was very important to see, to give them a perspective of what they are doing, why they are doing all of that. So speaking to journalists really helped. Watching the reportage at that time, because it was insane, like literally it's like all we were seeing.
That's all you were doing, watching
That
the
and hearing a lot of journalists who are very close to me having a bit of a breakdown because of the environment we were in at that time. All of that played a big part in writing that. So even though I wasn't able to get out and see and physically do the legwork, I was getting a lot of material.
So when you like go on sets with your story, do you sometimes feel like, maybe I can tweak this a little bit and like change it up a little bit?
Oh, all the time.
How do you deal with that?
I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that yet. It depends on.
Because as a writer, your job is never over. You're always watching it like, इसको change करो.
Yeah. So my face is always in like a
exactly. थोड़ा सा.
Yeah. So that's like Anubhav Sinha.
Let me please say, everybody in the film who's worked on the film is always watching the film like that. Exactly.
Cringe.
It actually depends on my director. So like Anubhav sir, he wanted me on Thappad like all day every day.
अच्छा, on the set.
Yeah. And he used to always say ये गंदे चेहरे बनानी है, because I used to be like this the whole time. I wanted to change.
Actors को डरा रही है उन में.
So you like actors के सामने बैठ मत, because their mojo will just drop. But when Hansal sir, he kind of understands where I'm coming from, so he'll kind of come to me and he's like, क्या हुआ? Everything is wrong. And I'm like, sir, that and the other. We should like, no, we've done something wrong. We've thought and rethought every single word.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the time to just do it.
That's why you have to write and direct your own movies.
Yeah. Prajakta, now you are the newest entrant on this panel in the industry as a full-time actor, doing movies, doing series, your own series. पर आपने शुरू किया था छोटे प्लेटफॉर्म से, YouTube से, social media से, and as a female voice on YouTube, what have been your learnings that you want to share with the younger female audience who wants to come on YouTube as a content creator? Because आपका काम है अपना opinion देना, खुद खड़े होके face अपना लेके सामने. You're not anonymous when your name is on the channel. What would you want to say to new people who want to enter this field and perhaps follow your career path?
I think honestly, and this I realized and learned it much later. I've been doing this for over 8 years now.
Correct.
I started in 2015, so it's been quite some time. And I think थोड़े सालों बाद मुझे समझ आया कि this is what it was. I think one of the things which I subconsciously did, and I would have taken a lot of pride in saying that that was a conscious decision, but it wasn't, that no matter what content I was writing or performing or speaking for, I never made it about my gender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was never that, okay, maybe I should speak about this because I'm a woman. Or maybe I shouldn't speak about this because I'm a woman. Or like, is it okay if I speak about this? I remember, it wasn't even a thought when I decided to move my content from just me to like doing characters. It wasn't even a thought that came to my mind, who will play my brother? Like, I'm writing a script where I need a brother. Like, who will play? But I was like, I'll play it. I'll draw a stash on my face. I'll play it. So I feel like I reached a point where I was like, and I realized it much later. So I think that's something that I tell a lot of my viewers who ask me this, that no matter what you do, and again, I'm very new, I'm learning, it's a long journey, but I think one of the things that helped me is that don't let it be about your gender, and that kind of uncomplicates a lot of things in your mind.
I mean, she's also a writer-director in a manner of speaking. She's written for herself for years and kind of directed herself for years, so in a manner of speaking for a different platform. Yeah, I mean, different platform, but like, you know, if I had to describe it, writer-director, you've written your own stuff.
Yeah.
But are you still continuing to write for yourself? How are you straddling these two careers now you have going, as an actor who has to listen to someone else's instructions and as someone who has to give yourself instructions?
Definitely. In fact, in the law.
Are you losing your mind?
Yes. Can't you tell with how much concealer I have? All right.
Dark
mostly same.
Yes. But you know, something similar happened to me in the lockdown where we all got so much more time. I ended up writing a lot. Also, because I've been doing, I was 21 when I started making content on YouTube. I'm going to be 30 this year in June. I'm so excited.
Welcome to your 30s.
I'm so excited. During the lockdown, I also realized that something also changed in my mind with the way I want to write, or the way I want to package and show stories, the way I consume content. So what I did was I actually sat down when the whole world kept telling me, Prajakta, it's got to be short form. You know, you have to go short form. I was just like, I want to do episodic. So I ended up actually writing a few original ideas that we're now developing, hopefully. It picks up. There's some exciting conversations happening for the channel, for like hopefully Netflix. That's one thing which I absolutely love, and I don't think I'll ever stop writing. I've always said this because I realize that my audience and this confidence that I get to kind of get up every day and do these things that are like way out of my comfort zone comes from the fact that I have a very loyal audience standing very strongly.
Oh yes, I've seen that. I've seen that on YouTube channel.
But I could, if there's any guts I have in general, it's because I know that if I'm wrong, I won't have an audience that will say you're like, go, no more. They'll say, hey, it's fine. You know what, try again, it'll be fine. And that gives me a lot of motivation to keep doing what I do. So I'll definitely keep writing, making content, yes, because I love making videos, I absolutely love it. And yeah, it's fun being an actor. I like it. You know, Akash says...
Just laughing, why? It's not fun for you?
It's not.
Like you, what is this laughter?
What is it? What is it?
She was so passionate about the
It's
video
so
making, and then she said, it's fun being an
No, I don't want it to come.
I think we keep talking, she said.
But like Akash had said this to me once, he said that being on a film set is like tasting blood. Like you
never want to go
off
back.
it. And I felt that so much.
Yes.
And why I said it's fun is because, like, as a content creator, I have to be like, oh, okay, so like, have you finished writing? Have you finished shooting? Can I see the shot? Is the framing okay? Should we do, like, what is the thumbnail going to be? What is the poster going to be? When do we announce this? With acting, I get into hair and makeup, do my lines and just like, say.
किताब पढ़ रहे हैं.
That's it. You're like, yeah. Okay, take, you can go chill in the van. It's like, wow, that's great.
So you're saying running your own channel is much harder
For me, yes.
Yeah, because it's your business. You're running it like a business.
Yeah. But when I get to be on a film set, I get to collaborate with these geniuses from across the country, across the world. And I love doing that because every time I have free time, I'll go and sit down next to my director and be like, so, what is this about? He's like, thank God, we're working here. I love having these conversations. There's so much I get to learn. I make friends. I meet so many newer people.
Yeah.
So I love it. And that's why it's fun.
That is one thing you have in common with Mrunmai. Both your directors are like, calm down. We're okay. We got this. Get out. अभी हमें रैप करना है. अभी हमारे पास 2 मिनट बाकी हैं. बट मैं एक सवाल एक्टर्स से पूछना चाहती हूँ. हंसी आएगा हंसी आपको कि what is the most random acting brief you've received in your like acting career? कि ये करना है. And you're like, करना है. ये करना है.
When I started acting professionally after I finished from the Film Institute, for the longest time the brief was we want you to be bubbly, like Kareena from Jab We Met, and it was always that. So
मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
for 30 auditions it was Kareena from Jab We Met, and I loved the film and I loved the performance, but I didn't think I could do it.
Yeah.
So that was the longest time that had been the brief.
But Prajakta, for you, a lot of people must have come to you before you decided to make your acting debut कि हमारी फिल्म में हीरोइन की best friend बनो, sister बनो सिर्फ. तो voice of reason बनो. What was that like for you before you finally decided that this is going to be where I'm going to go to Netflix?
I mean, there were a lot, honestly.
यार हीरोइन की best friend के तो बहुत ऑफर आते हैं.
दो तीन
वो
हुए थे.
मुझे भी आ जाते हैं. मैं एक्टर तो हूँ नहीं guys.
नहीं, 2-3 conversations हुए थे. I went for the auditions and I had meetings with directors. But for some reason, I just felt like क्या जल्दी है? It's okay. I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now, and it should feel right because it's a huge step. I mean, it's way out of my comfort zone. As much as I loved being on camera, acting, stuff like that, auditions that was it was very uncomfortable. And for some reason it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, it was very like she's bubbly and she's gonna be like the
Cutie
she
pie.
tells the heroine what to do. I said, why haven't you written your heroine who knows what she should do? Right? Yeah. Like don't do it like that. No, like it doesn't. But anyway, so I'm so
All
glad.
that bubbly people are not always bubbly all the time.
Yes.
For no reason.
Can I get a character who's like sad?
More normal,
Yes.
you know.
Normal.
But yeah, but I'm so glad that I kind of acted on my instinct at that time. I was like, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's wait. We'll see what happens, and then we'll take it.
Well, 3 cheers to all of your instincts and making it happen for all of us, and it's just such a delight. Tanya, thank you so much. Prajakta, Huma, Jasmeet, Rasika, thank you so much for being so candid and giving all my questions some serious thought and answering them all. Thank you so much to the audience for being here today. Thank you to NCW again for making this happen. My name is Sucharita, and here with the panel, do we have a photographer? Yes. Okay, we're going to take a picture with the panel, and then we have some special photo ops with all our Afsaraएं who are here. तो 1 मिनट में मैं आपको भी ऊपर बुला के एक बार पैनल की तस्वीर ले लीजिए सारे.